Yo, what's going on, man? Today is September the 12th. Welcome to the ChrisBeCappinn Show. We got one NFL game today that we'll jump into for Thursday Night Football. We got one WNBA game for today as well. So let's jump right into it. This will be a shorter show today. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. If you could, hit the like button on your way in. It's greatly appreciated. We'll do it like we always do. Quick recap of yesterday. I'll go through a couple of the comments and then jump straight into the two games that we got on the slate for today. I got to figure out when, but I'm gonna do another show, an NFL show, look ahead to some of the Sunday lines as well. So let's do just that, man. Yesterday was a smooth and easy 1-0 day. Washington first half money line was a absolute winner, man. WNBA has been really, really good to us recently. I think it's like we've won 4 of the last 5 nights, been profitable nights, maybe even 5 of the last 6. It's been a lot of really good winners for sure. If you took the under that was on the short list yesterday between the Aces and the Fever, that was also a winner as well. The Aces defense is back. They look really, really good in Indiana. Rematch tomorrow. So interested to see how that game goes. And everything's been trending in the right direction. So no complaints here. Let's get into a couple of the comments real quick before we move it on over to the games for today. And I felt like I saw more, but I'm not sure where they went to. Alex says, good morning. Good morning, Chris. Again, thank you for capping all of these games. Followed your lead and cashed a plus 260, a plus 1280, and a plus 2015 yesterday. 100% goated. Appreciate that, Alex. I'm glad you've been cashing, man. Seeing the board pretty clearly right now. Hopefully it can stay that way. I know it's not just me, but we come in here, put our heads together. We typically make some money for sure. So loving this from Alex. Prolific says, good morning, Chris. Let's keep cashing. Love it. Yes, ups and downs, of course, when you're sports betting, but right now we definitely trending in the right direction for sure. Good morning, Sarah. Marquis says he had another 3-0 night. Under 178 was a winner for him between Fever and the Aces. Mystics, faithful first half, and he took Ezzie Magmagor over her 8 rebounds. Young Man Travel says, morning fam, went 3-0 yesterday as always. Thanks for the insight. Let's cash again today. Yeah, a lot of people making money, man. I love it. I love it. Top of the morning to my guy, Justin. What up, Justin? Hope all is well with you, bro. And Prestigious Prodigy in here as well says, Chris was good. What up, Prestigious Prodigy? CG3 in here also says, morning, Chris. God bless. Aces under, Mystics under, Storm over, all green. Yeah, W been treating us well, man. Let's see if we can replicate that and cash again today. So only one game on the board for today, which is the Liberty and the Wings. It's a rematch of what we just saw, right? 2 nights ago. And I just want to double check the line real quick. Yeah, looks like it's still 11.5, and it looks like it is 11.5, depending on where you're shopping. And the total 178, 178.5, depending on where you're shopping as well. So jumping into, it's not a lot that we really need to recap, that we need to cap in this game, in my opinion. The spot does change a little bit from first game to second game, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But, both teams coming off 1 day's rest, last of a 2-game road trip for Liberty. So a little bit different of a spot here. They also had that motivation to get that bad taste out of their mouth after, playing down to the Aces on Sunday. And they got the Minnesota Lynx on deck now. 30-7 straight up on the season. We know that they're the best team in the WNBA throughout the entirety of the season on the road. They've also really been covering numbers, 14-4 straight up, 13-5 against the number as well. And number 1 offensive rated team. Whenever you start playing against the Dallas Wings, your offensive rating always going to take a jump. And, your defensive rating probably also going to take a jump because Dallas can't score the basketball. As we can see that they are still the 4th rated offensive team over the last 5 games. Not a lot to really mention on the Dallas side, right? Just, eliminated from the playoffs, still going out there, playing really fast, trying to get up and down the floor. And losing games, not covering spreads. 9-27, I think, is the second worst record on the season behind the Sparks. And pretty sure they're the worst ATS team as well, 4-13-1 against the number. So what changes in this game do we have here? So first thing that really jumped out to me, and I want to give some credit to my guy RC because we were texting about this game yesterday when the total dropped, because I don't know if you guys saw it, but I did tweet I wonder what the total will be in the next one. We saw it open at 170 and a half, got shot up to 172 and a half when we did the show 2 days ago, ended up closing, I think, 174 and a half, 175 and a half. And it opened 3 points higher, right? So let's look at it. If you guys can see this, I know a lot of people watch the show on their phones, during their commute. But if you could zoom in or take a picture, whatever it is that you want to do, what I pulled up here is specific on the total, right? Because I can't look under, right? It's really difficult to look under. I know this total didn't move as much, that much higher, just 3 points higher. But that last game was, I think it was close to 200 points. I know that the Liberty scored, what was it? They went over 100. Let me double check it real quick just to give you guys some accuracy. That game was 105 to 91. 196 points in that game. And you got a total at 178. So what this query says on the screen here is that if you guys can, let's see. No, that ain't working. All right. If you guys can see at the very end over here, it says date minus the previous date is less than 3. So what this is that if you're playing a game within 3 days, and your previous opponent is your opponent, so you're playing the same team within 3 days, the last game went over, and then the total is also greater than the previous total. All right, so follow me, stay with me. And now, and the last thing, it just says REG, which means this is a regular season. You guys can see here that this has happened 123 times. 123 times, 68, 56, and 2 to the over. So these games are continuing to go over about 55% of the time if you're looking at the numbers here. That's the only way I can look at this game is towards the over. Now, as far as the side, and I'll be quick on this, as far as the side in this game, and I probably should pull this up so you guys can see it, but I won't, just for time purposes, I won't right now. But while I was texting with RC, he also sent me this, and I thought it was pretty interesting as well. So I'm going to just share with you guys and let you guys know in case you want to create it yourself. I always talk about the resources at the end of the show. So this season, when the Liberty are playing a team that they previously beat by 10 points, and then they land 10 points in the next game, while they are 7-2 straight up, they're only 2-7 against the spread. So it tells us that the Liberty aren't necessarily locked in the next time if they've already beaten their opponent by 10 points. Again, Liberty this season playing a team that they previously beat by 10, and then they're laying at least 10 in that next game, just 2-7 straight up. So it says that they probably won't be locked in. You also add into the fact that they got Minnesota on deck. It's not necessarily the greatest spot for the Liberty, in my opinion. Now, can they come out here and smoke the Wings? They absolutely can, right? The Wings defense is really that bad. This is a historically, I've been saying it for 4 or 5 weeks now, probably longer, 4 or 5 months. This is a historically bad defense. It didn't even get any better when Satu Sabali came back, when, Natasha Howard came back. Maddie Segrist being out there is even more points for the offense and less defense because she can't guard anybody either. So, yeah, this would be a spot where I think the best play on the board, if you want to stay away from the full total to go up and over, because I think the Liberty team total is like 93.5, will probably be the Wings team total to go up and over. If I go to moneyballer.com and I look at the Wings, because the Wings still can score the basketball. I think that's something we got to mention as well. If I look at the Wings and I look at them as a home dog, they are 11-1 to their team total over as a home dog. So not only are they giving up a ton of points, but they're also scoring a ton of points. 11-1 to the over. The Wings team total right now, last night it was 83.5, and it is still 83.5 is the best number for the Wings. I think they can get to 84 points in this game. Like I said, Liberty potentially not being locked in. I know this game going to be played with a bunch of pace. So that's the way I would look in this one. It's probably Liberty, Dallas Wings team total up and over to 83.5. I just want to go back and check one more thing really quickly. Just look at the Dallas Wings since the Olympic break and just see. I know offensively they've been scoring, but let's put some numbers to this real quick. All right, so 84. The Wings are averaging 89 points since the Olympic break. They just scored 91. They scored 77 against the Sky. But before that, they got 86 against the Dream, 96 against the Dream, 86 against the Mystics, 93 against the Fever, 94 against the Lynx, 93 against the Aces, 113 against the Sparks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the last 8 games, they've gone up and over the total 83.5. I like the full game to go over because I don't think they can stop the Liberty, but I think that would be the best play. Just situationally, that's what I like in this game. It would be Wings team total over 83.5, staying away from the spread, but I probably take them plus the points as well. It's just difficult to do so. All right, enough about that. Let's see what you guys are talking about. I talked for too long, and then we'll get into the Thursday night football game. Real says, Chris, great community. Cash Sparks plus the 11. Boy, we ain't gonna talk about Seattle. The Storm looked terrible last night, though. That was a terrible performance for them to win that game. But I'm glad you cashed. I didn't play that game. I talked about that being the game that I didn't like. What up, Ball Talk? Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Same with my guy Mitchell. He said he smashed the over in the game immediately when he saw that 178. Mark says points is what he's expecting. Top of the morning to my guy Helms. Appreciate you for tapping in as always, Helms. Christopher says, watch the show every day, Chris, but finally up early to say love the show and appreciate all your hard work. Thank you. I appreciate this too, Chris. The community that I'm all about growing is about positivity. We're going to win best together. We're going to lose best together, but I do appreciate you guys. And I saw a lot of people, showing love and it's appreciated. It's absolutely appreciated. So I appreciate comments like this as well. Sending that love right back to you, Chris. Christopher, I don't know if you go by Chris, but my name is Christopher too. I go by Chris. Mark says Wings are going to do their best to keep up and pace and push pace, in my opinion. And I agree with that, Mark. I definitely agree. Young Man Travel says taking it over again. It's a buffet with these two teams. Yeah, absolutely. Pharrell says under 175 Wings, it will not go the same way. It will not be favor and over again. That's a popular bet. Dog and over, maybe. I think dog team total over for real. But I do think the game goes up and over. Top of the morning to my guy PZ says Storm first half money line was nasty. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday, right? If you want to fade the Storm, you do it after the Sparks. You do it as the game go along with them on the second leg of a back-to-back third game in 4 nights. Justin on that same wavelength. He says he likes the Wings team total up and over 83.5. Right now, I'm looking at the eye screen. It looks like the best number that you can get for that team total is minus 115 on ESPN Bet, and Bet Rivers right now has it. I see 18 cent of juice on FanDuel. Oh, I'm sorry. Minus 110 on DraftKings is the best number for that 83.5 team total for the Dallas Wings. Let's see. Justin says he's going to add the full game after. Redemption says going to run Sabrina threes again, Chris. Good morning as well. Good morning, Redemption. Couldn't talk you off Sabrina threes. CG says Liberty up and over. Love the over. Hills Walker says. Drop a dime says, man, I spent an hour studying that Killer Sports guy. It take longer than that, Drop a dime. It really do, bro. And I still don't even learn everything. I'm not what they call a master QD, SDQL. But I mean, there's facts and then there's opinions, and I like to go with the facts. I like to go with the facts to help me lead to my opinion, and I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. What up to my guy Oaktown Finest? Mark says I'm on the over 178, but I'll tell that team total for the Wings. You always have those looks. Yeah, absolutely. Always trying to find out what's gonna cash the most. Tyler says, what up, Chris? Any early picks on the Aces Fever game tomorrow? Nah, I think I like the over tomorrow though. I think I like the over, Tyler. I was listening to Becky Hammond last night post game, and they spent a lot of energy. I could see the Fever making some adjustments. Caitlin Clark trying to play with a little bit more pace, which is what she said in the last game. And they just missed a lot of shots yesterday too. I like that under a lot, but they missed a lot of shots, and they also can't guard anybody. So that's going to be the detriment of the Fever, is that they literally can't stop anybody. The Aces offense is not that great, but when they're playing defense and getting stops, which I thought that they would last night, really difficult team. So I probably like the over a little bit more in the second game, but yeah, that's probably the way I would look. Jackie Young had Caitlin Clark in hell last night for anybody who watched that game. It's going to be difficult to replicate that, being super physical with her as well. So those are my early thoughts, but I don't even know if the line's out. And if they did, I don't know if I didn't look at them, Tyler. So those are my thoughts. Helm says not betting this one tonight. Going to wait for a 5-game slate tomorrow. Yeah, GB, I'm with you. He says SDQL is very powerful, and I'm right there with you. Top of the morning to my guy Lightbarrel. So JA's is sports data query language is what SDQL is. So it's just sports data query language. Yeah, I wish I was a master, but use it. It's just a tool, right? It's a tool. It's not going to tell you, it's not the end all be all. Like, you're not going to hit 100% of your bets, but definitely a powerful tool. All right, so let's get over to Thursday night football. And let me just double check the lines real quick before I go into this one. I want to say that they haven't really moved a lot. I created these graphics yesterday. Yeah, 2.5 and 48.5 looks like it's the total. Total, I do see it going up to 49 on a couple books, but 2.5 looks like it's a consensus on the spread. I'll be pretty short with my analysis on this game. I think the first thing that really jumps out to me is the injury report, right? So, and how both teams won last week. So this total has come down. It was at 51 when I jotted my notes down on Monday, and I first started looking into the game. Money has also come in. I'd be remiss without saying money did come in on the Dolphins as well. This opened at 1. It immediately got pushed to 1.5, and now you see it up to 2.5 as well. And injury report is going to be interesting in this game because Raheem Mostert is already out for the Dolphins, and Achane hasn't practiced all week. He's listed as a game time decision with a chest injury or ankle injury. I'm sorry, ankle injury. I think it is for Achane. On the Buffalo Bills side, Josh Allen has his left hand, non-throwing hand, in a protective, like in the little protective glove thing. Not sure whether he's going to use it yet in this game or not. But I do think it could potentially be influential to the game, and I think that's probably why we see the total come down in this game just a little bit as well. And then they also got, I forgot what his name is, but their slot corner, nickel corner is also already ruled out for this game, that being Buffalo's nickel corner, and that could be problematic. And the reason why I think that could be problematic is because Tyreek Hill was the wide receiver who had the most, who played in the slot the most for Miami last week. I know he's not necessarily a slot, wide receiver. He's a number one option, but he ran, I think, 6 routes from the slot last week and caught 3 passes from the slot. That could be problematic if you're Buffalo. The other thing about this game is Buffalo's secondary, I think, will be tested a lot in this game. They do not, this is not the same Buffalo defense, in my opinion. No, you saw them. They had to come back from 14 down. I think they were down 17-3 in the second quarter of the game on Sunday when they were playing against the Arizona Cardinals. So, they were able to do so behind, the likes of Arizona defense that also still needs some work. And they were able to kind of turn things around. Josh Allen rushed the ball, played really, really well. I am of the mindset that Buffalo's defense is not going to look as great. Specifically the secondary. If you've been following, kind of locked in, then you know that, this is a totally different secondary for Buffalo. No Tre'Davious White, Dane Jackson is gone, Jackson Poirier is gone, Jordan Poirier is gone, I'm sorry, and Micah Hyde is all gone. So I think the secondary is going to take a step back. They are, I think, 19th rated secondary. I think Tua could have some success because of that. The Dolphins' offense didn't look great in that last game when they were playing against Jacksonville, but they also had, some stuff going on with Tyreek Hill, some distractions going on before the game with him being arrested and all of those things that were going on. So I say all that to say this, and just some trends that I was looking into. Josh Allen typically owns the Dolphins. The Bills in general, 11-2 straight up when facing Miami since Josh Allen entered the league back in 2018. But Tua is 20-3 straight up as a favorite since the 2020 season when he came into the NFL as well. So some really supportive trends for both teams. I look into, a little bit deeper at the numbers. Buffalo allowed Arizona to convert 34% of their third downs, which was the third highest third down conversion percentage allowed. Miami converted 50% of its third downs last week against Jacksonville, which was the 5th highest rate. So I think we're going to see points in this game. The Bills have the better quarterback. I think we could all agree there. Offensive line are about even, in my opinion. Miami has the better wide receiving room. I think we can all agree on that. They have the better running back room, although their running backs will be compromised in this spot. And I do think they have the better secondary as well. So I like Miami in the game, man. I think another thing to look at is just like rest advantage wise. Miami didn't have to travel. Short week, both teams coming off 3 days rest. Buffalo, very short week, and they had to catch a flight yesterday to get to the game. So I looked into that a little bit more. Road dogs with less than 5 days rest facing an opponent who didn't have to travel in their previous game. Just 26 and 63 straight up. 29% date back to 1994. And then since 2013, those teams are 15 and 37 straight up. Road dogs on Thursday facing an opponent that previously were at home, 25 and 66 straight up in the Killer Sports database as well. So I do think Miami should win the game. It scares me a little bit because they won't be at full strength. But I think Buffalo secondary takes a step back as well. It's a couple different things that I like. The first thing I like is I like Tua. I think if the Dolphins are going to win, it's going to be on the strength of Tua's arm. You can get his passing touchdowns over 121. I'm sorry, over 1.5 at -121 over on Caesars. I think that's in line to play here just because I think they'll have a limited backfield. Well, I know they'll have a limited backfield, especially if Achane doesn't go. Like I mentioned, Taron Johnson is also listed as out, the nickel corner. I just think that if Miami scores, it's going to be through the air. And I think Buffalo's secondary is not going to be as good. So I like Tua over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I also think Dalton Kincaid is also a really good look. You can get Dalton Kincaid under his 4.5 receptions, -120 on Bet365. And this play is simply predicated on there being so many options there being so many options and not a number one option for Josh Allen. If you look at Dalton Kincaid last week, and I think, you can't just go off 1 week worth of data. He only had 1 reception last week, though, and 11 yards on 2 targets. There's legitimate 9 pass catching receivers for the Buffalo Bills if you go through and look at it. None of them had more than 5 targets last week. Keon Coleman led the room with 5 targets. Then Shakir had 3, James Cook had 3, and then they had 6 other players who had either 2 or 1. When you think about Josh Allen, having that protective sleeve on, they could just hand the ball off a little bit more to James Cook in this game. So James Cook over his 14.5 rush attempts, I think is also worth a play here. Dolphins did a really good job with Evan Ingram last week as well. He only had 1 catch for 5 yards. So yeah, I just think it's a lot of mouths to feed if you're a wide receiver from Buffalo. I think Sean McDermott probably wants to spread the ball around again. So I like Dalton Kincaid to go under his 4.5 receptions in this game here. Let's see what you guys are thinking. I gave some player props, my thought on the side as well. Let's see what you guys are thinking before we jump into a quick recap of this game here. Justin says he likes James Cook over 81.5 rushing and receiving together at -112. Helm says he's taking the dog and give him Josh Allen on the road and the under. Says got under 50 on Monday, so definitely some CLV for Helms here. Mark says Bills have owned Miami 4-1 last 5. Last time Miami was favored 2019. I think that's pretty telling though, Mark. I was thinking about that as well, right? Why is Miami laying points? And I think a lot of it is because of the rest advantage. And it's not necessarily a big rest advantage, but they didn't have to travel, right? Whereas Buffalo was at home, had to travel, short week to prep. So yeah, I do think that. And I think Buffalo takes a step back this year too. But we'll see how it goes. They're going to have to contain Josh Allen because Josh Allen is absolutely amazing. And that's why I haven't bet it yet. But I like Miami in this spot. GB says all trends points to Bills against the spread. But man, I don't know about this one. Appreciate you tapping in from Philippines, Juan. Mark says, yeah, tough for me not to back the Bills. Cook over his 2.5 receptions, GB says. James Cook here. The simply first half over in the Dolphins game and Miami team total over, Tori says. Ball Talk says line a little sketchy, but I'm not sure how much the Bills can contain Miami's playmakers. One thing I want to mention about that as well, real quick on this point. Tua threw for over 300 yards last week. 240 of them. I think he threw for the most yards last week. 240 of the yards were after catch. So he just getting the ball to Waddle, getting the ball to Cook, getting the ball to Tyreek Hill, who had an 80-yard reception last week. And they're, moving. They want to get the ball in space. Sean McDermott had a quote this week, said this is the fastest offense he's ever seen in his life. So, yeah, if you're Buffalo with that secondary on the road first game, I think, Arizona's offense wasn't in sync last week. And that's one of the reasons why I like Miami in this spot as well. LJ says he likes Josh Allen over his 1.5 touchdowns. Allen had 2+ touchdowns in every game versus Miami. And this was something that my guy Munoz mentioned yesterday as well. I think he's 12 for 12 to the over is Josh Allen when playing against the Miami Dolphins. He's thrown for at least 2 touchdowns in every single game. Almost seemed too easy to be too good to be true. But I hope you cash it, LJ, for sure. Let's see. Markel says he took a stab at Khalil Shakir 2 touchdowns. I know you got some good odds there. Mark says primetime under things still a thing, especially on Thursday. I don't know about this one though, Mark. I don't know, man. The other thing I failed to mention about, just injury wise, we know that Jalen Ramsey also still struggling with a hamstring injury. He was limited. I know he played him, a little bit over 50 snaps, but Josh Allen gonna definitely test him, and I think they're gonna try to look down the field as well. The interesting thing to me about the Buffalo game last week, because you go back and look at the Cardinals defense, they were bottom 5 against the rush and the pass last year. The interesting thing about the Cardinals, the Bills' offensive, like the way they decided to play offense, they ran the ball 33 times last week. That's really, really high for a Buffalo team that, really kind of, was just, they've always been built off the back of Josh Allen, especially with Sean McDermott being there. So that was interesting to me. I think this one could potentially get up and over the total, but I'm not interested in the total, if I'm being honest. Reek says Dolphins -1.5, simple. What else should I say? Dolphins money line. Rich said, if I play it, it'll be money line for me too. I'll stay away from the spread. Mitchell says I took Tua over 1.5 passing touchdown props. Use a 50% boost on DraftKings. I like it. I like it a lot. What else? Marquis says I'm going under, and he likes Waddle to score a touchdown. Josh Allen, touchdown, or is that a trap bet for tonight? I'm not sure if it's a boost or not, James. You got to let me know a little bit more context. But let's get out of here, man. In 2 games, we just spent 30 minutes talking about them. I told you guys what I'm looking at. New York and Dallas up and over to 178.5. And let's just add, I think it's 178.5. You might be able to get a 178. But I think even a little bit more, I like that, especially as I talked about it a little bit more, 83.5 Dallas team total. Over 83.5. This is predicated on, like I said, if you guys missed the top of the show, Dallas is, I gave you guys a number. I think they're 11-1 to the over in their last 12 games as a home dog. They went over this number in 7 of their last 8 games since the Olympic break. And, the Liberty just beat them by 15 points, so they probably won't be as locked in with the Lynx on deck. I know that game isn't until, I think, on, the weekend. I think it's, Sunday or something, but that's a big-time matchup with the Lynx. I like Miami on the money line, gave you guys the reasons for that as well. And Tua, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Dalton Kincaid, under 4.5 receptions would be my top looks in the Thursday night football game. I haven't bet any of them, but I'll dabble. I just want to see what happens as we get closer to the deadline for the closer to the game with the injury reports. So yeah, those are the ways I'm looking at the games, man. Resources that I use to handicap the games at the bottom. If you guys are interested in the graphic that I showed when I was talking about this, the trend that I'm looking at here, this is Killer Sports for people that are interested. It's listed at the bottom, but referral code for OddsJam doesn't change. CBC, get you 20% off your first month. A lot of great handicapping tools over there. I love the odds, the sportsbook screen page to give me the best odds, so I don't have to go through the numbers and then go through all the sports books. And then Moneyballer, 50% off your first month. If you guys are interested, use the code ChrisBeCappinn with 2 P's and 2 N's. Yeah, that's the show for today, man. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Hopefully we can stay hot. We've been killing it, and we need to continue to kill it. Sportsbook still owe me money. So yeah, hit the like button for me on your way out. Share the show, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Link for all my official plays in the description as it always is. Best of luck, man. Bet responsibly as always, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy Thursday night football. Be back tomorrow.